Same shirt, new day. We're out here early today, 10 o'clock. Iced vanilla berry. Not bad. Today's adventure. Do some wiring. So get that in view here. So this is the... That's not supposed to happen. So this is how I currently have my shutoff switch wired. So I have it wired. The starter wire is the main power. And then I just have it ran off the starter to the alternator. So when I flip the shutoff switch, the alternator would actually keep the truck running. It would kill all the accessories, but it would end up backfeeding. So don't wire it that way. So I came to the conclusion that this is the correct way to wire it. You have your alternator to the battery side of the cutoff switch, and then you have the starter to the accessory side. So when you shut off the switch, kills the power to all the accessories, and then the alternator will no longer backfeed to the accessories, and it will just kill to the battery. So that's on that side of things. Then we got windshield washer fluid, and then some hose here. Harbor Freight came in clutch. One of those garments inside there, and then run the hose in there. Hook them up there. I don't have the squirters. They're like $40, so I'm going to try to make my own out of like brake line or something. And then reservoir mounts here. Come on over here. We got to clean up the wiring today that I ran. Got to reseal my lines here. They're leaking. I use Teflon tape, so I'm going to use some of this stuff that I got off Amazon. I've got to clean up some wiring under here. Tie it up. Probably won't film that. And then I want to get interior vacuumed, dash on, rest of the gauge cluster together. I got the dashboard over there. And then I got a center console out of a Blazer. So that should be pretty easy install there. So let's do it. All I did is just took that line, shoved it through that garment, and then I think it goes like this. Then when it bolts up to the fender kind of locks it in place, and then you just run it to the wiper motor, trim up some lines, and see what happens. So if you look closely on here, there is 3 teats, we'll call them. My guess is that this is the main feed line, and then these 2 are going to go to the windshield. So that's how I'm going to hook it up. I'm not even going to test it because I have faith in that theory. So now I'm just going to take these little clips from Harbor Freight with a self-tapper, just throw it around. Now, these fenders are just sheet metal junk from Jegs. It's not like they're factory fenders, so don't hate. I'm just throwing some holes in it wherever. Then I'm just going to run it down here. Couple zip ties. Call it a day. So I got some copper brake line. So I'm just going to give this a little cut here. The end is kind of big on it. So I'm thinking for the squirters, I'm just going to put it in the vise and kind of crush it a little bit. So that way when the water comes out, oh boy, FedEx is here. That way when the water comes out, it kind of gives it that pressure to squirt up on the windshield. I mean, I'm thinking like make it look like a rectangle in a way, and then probably mount it again with the Harbor Freight clamps. So I'm just gonna make 2 of these and bolt it up and hit the button. Ended up bending up some brake line with a Harbor Freight clamp, and I'm gonna probably mount it right there. Obviously, I'm gonna shorten it a bit, and then connect the rubber line right to that, and then do the same to the other side. All set. Let the lines rain down into there, and I bent the brake line, gave it a little crimp at the end, and then did the same over here. Oh yeah. Whoa, not too bad. On the wiring. Got all the wiring buttoned up all the way down. Harbor Freight again, coming in for the win with some clamps. Running all the way down to the front of the truck. Time to vacuum up this whole mess, and then center console, dashboard, gauge cluster. This gauge cluster is beat to, I don't even know. This thing has seen 10 different trucks and shattered and battered, but not too bad. It's the best we can do. She's a race truck after all, you know. So throw on some weather stripping now, and then time to mount the center console right down there. This truck's starting to have an interior. I'm pretty excited about it. Crank this off so I don't blind you. So center consoles are pretty self-explanatory. I was just really worried about all this fun stuff hitting, but I mean, it's a pretty nice fit there. I just gotta mark out some holes, and then, I mean, what do you think? 3 bolts? Probably 3 bolts will be fine to mount that, and have your 2 road sodas, little phone holder, and pop her open, and all sorts of cool stuff you can stuff in there. Illegal, legal, whatever you want. So let's mark them up, drill some holes, hop down under yonder, slide them through, and we got ourselves a center console. All right, center console's in. Pretty basic. Got some dust on her. Now that the center console's finished up, I'm gonna throw this on really quick. This is a speedometer cable. It's like 20 inches, so it's an extender. It goes to, this used to have a manual transmission in it, SM465, or something like that. But now it's got a Turbo 400, so it kind of just threads on. This end goes into the transmission. This end goes onto the cable. Pretty basic. Slide under here, and goes right there, and connects to that cable there. Talked about this earlier. I used Teflon tape on it. I've tightened the balls off of it. Absolutely still leaking. So this stuff right here, Permatex thread sealant with PTFE, was recommended that by multiple people. So I figured the Teflon tape wasn't gonna last, but we'll give this a shot and see what happens. Gonna take this, bring it over to the bench, put all this thread sealant on it, tighten it back up, and I'll meet you guys back over. All right, we're back. All lubed up. Stuff seems like it dries fairly quick. Said you can readjust it in 24 hours if you have to. So yeah, we're gonna probably let it run. Maybe tomorrow we'll fire up the air and kind of see what happens. But I'm gonna let it sit, because the last thing you want is a compressor that's got to run more than it needs to. That can get annoying. Oh yeah, that's way better. So I'm not entirely sure what happened here. I ended up unplugging the 3.5-inch screen and hooking up my laptop, and I reset the ECU. I sent it to the ECU and then collected it from the ECU. Kind of monitored it for a little bit. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but it fired up. So here we're going to check to make sure the shut-off switch works. Alright, so now we can pass tech. Alright folks, that concludes today's episode. Got a lot done today. I think it's like just about 4 o'clock. Been out here since 10 a.m. Had a little lunch in between, but we wrapped up all the wires underneath. We got the new speedo cable in, windshield washer, fluid, reservoir, all the lines ran, all the squirters made. Shut off switch is done. Yeah, so we're in pretty good shape here. Probably another about 3 to 4 hours left on this thing before we crank the boost up. I got a buddy on Facebook. He's a really good tuner, so he's gonna remote tune it. So I'm gonna get a lot of footage of ripping down the road, topping out for a second gear, change the spark plugs out, go hit it again. So the goal, 15 pounds E85. This thing's gonna rip. So just waiting on some warm weather, and yeah, we're butting things up. Catch you guys next time.